Imagine this. You go outside, the birds are chirping, the flowers are blooming. The air feels crisp when you inhale, and the colorful leaves on the trees are more vibrant than ever. You have this image in your head of what nature is supposed to be. Now, picture this. Those trees, instead of glooming with color, they are dead because of a wildfire. The grass is dead because of severe droughts. This is climate change. If we don't put a stop to it, it can be irreversible. But in order to act accordingly, we need to have even footing to fight. This is where we need your help. In order to fight climate change, we need to ensure that everyone has access to basic human rights. Then, we actually will have a chance. Flint still doesn't have access to clean water, and they likely are going to be the first ones severely affected by climate change. We cannot fight climate change and succeed unless we get these low-income communities the resources that they need. Climate change affects us all, regardless of our social class. It affects the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food access we have, and many more things. It is way overdue to give back to these low-income communities that don't have access to the things that most of us do. Listen, I used to think that it didn't matter what I did because I'm just one person. If everyone thought like that, then nothing else would happen. You matter, and the efforts you take to make our planet a better place matter. It may seem small, but it's not. Climate change has already started taking effect. Glaciers have been melting, and carbon footprint is at an all-time high. I'm going to debunk the common misbelief that climate change won't affect us in our lifetime, because it already has started taking effect. I'm going to explain how climate change affects Flint and other low-income communities. And then I'm going to show you what you can do to help. Now, let's debunk this common misbelief. Some people may think that climate change won't affect us in our lifetime, and they think, oh, well, I'm not going to be around, so what does it have to do with me? But according to New York Times, climate change has already started to take effect. Global warming has been more prevalent now than ever. There are heat waves, glaciers are melting. According to the Wildlife Foundation, climate change affects all of us, no matter where we are. Extreme weather conditions and increased food prices are affecting us already, as the resources for food, such as crops and farmlands, are starting to be affected by these climate changes. Now that you know that climate change is real and is already starting to take effect, I'm going to show how you can help these low-income communities and also how they're having it worse right now. Flint is suffering right now, and it has been for 6 years, and they still do not have access to clean water. As climate change is already starting to take effect, Flint is stuck in the crosshairs. According to an article from climateexchange.org, Alyssa Pascoe states that overall of 140,000 residents in Flint were exposed to lead in their water supply. If you didn't know what lead is a chemical that is toxic to humans, and high levels of it is very toxic. It can cause anemia, weakness, kidney, and brain damage. More information of this toxicity can be found on the CDC website. These people need help. Before we even begin to focus on the environment and our planet, we need to focus on them first. Also, Black, Indigenous, and people of color make up a majority of the population of Flint. Poverty rates are increasing, and clean water supply is still at an all-time low. Now, let's transition to my final point. Flint needs your help immediately, as well as these low other income communities. What you do really matters in this situation. I'm going to show you how you can help. Finally, the United Way of Genesee County is accepting donations of water filters and bottled water, according to Courtney Connolly from blackenterprise.com. You can donate by visiting their website. The Salvation Army is also accepting donations online, or you can text WATER to 91999. If you want additional information on how to help, you can visit the American Red Cross website. You can also help Flint by reducing your carbon footprint and helping to prevent further damage caused by climate change. According to davidsuzuki.org, people, communities, cities, businesses, and schools are already taking action. You can conserve energy by unplugging electronics when you're not home, turning off lights when you're not even using them. You can also take public transit as much as possible and carpool. Anything helps to reduce your carbon footprint. According to NASA Climate Kids, you can also reduce your carbon footprint from small day-to-day things. For example, instead of sitting in the drive-thru and letting your car run, just park your car and go inside. Instead of driving a mile up the road, take a bike. Instead of using reusable grocery bags, cut down on plastic ones and use paper bags. Instead of using water bottles, invest in a Hydro Flask or a Yeti. Now that you all know the issues at hand and what you can do to help, let's recap a bit. There is a crisis going on in these low-income communities in our planet, and it's up to us to fix it. You are not insignificant. What you do really matters. You know that climate change is real. It is happening all around us, and it is getting worse every day that we don't do something. These low-income communities need our help just as much as the Earth does. We need to prioritize these communities, such as Flint, so that we can focus on fixing the damage done to our planet. But first, we must address these basic human rights that they aren't have access to. You may think to yourself, oh, me not doing anything won't make a difference. I'm just one person. But think about this. If everyone had that mindset, then there would be no change. It all starts with you. You are not insignificant. You are a human being living on this planet, and you have the ability to make change.